think I'm live. I think I am. I think I am. Hello, everybody. Sorry if I keep looking off to the side. I've got my comments up on that side, my camera here, my camera there. It's all a little kerfuffled for me. Okay, I think I can see my comments. So let me know if you're here. Let me know if you're watching. And I'm going to show you some of our projects for this awesome bundle. So the bundle that we're using is the In Bloom bundle. So it has these lovely graphic florals and dies that cut the same out. And then we had the Paper Blooms designer series paper. Oh, yay, people are saying hi. Sorry, I'm looking over at the comments on the side. So we've got Colleen and Kisha are here. Awesome. So we had from Celebration, we had the Paper Blooms paper, which used kind of these same images and a bunch of bright colors. So we're going to use those things together today to make some different cards. And I'm going to make 3 cards, and then Kara's going to come on live once I'm done, and she is going to make 3 cards as well. So I'm going to switch over so that you can see what I'm doing here. Alrighty. So once again, I have the stamp set here. I've already pulled out the stamps that I need, and then I'm going to make some different cards. And I actually did not decide which ones I was going to do first. So we're going to kind of figure this out. One thing I haven't shown in a while, and I thought I would show you guys, is 2 of my cards actually use Night of Navy for the card base. So I was going to show you how I make my card bases. So I'm just using a letter size, so 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock, and I do this whether it's the thick Whisper White or very vanilla, or thick basic white, I should say, or any of our colored cardstocks. And what you do is just in half each way. So on the 8.5 side, I'm going to go to 4 1/4. So that's 4 1/4 there. And I'm going to score it. And then I'm going to turn it 90 degrees, and I'm going to go in half the other way. So on the 11-inch side, it's going to be 5.5. So 5.5 inches there. And then I'm just going to cut it. And this gets you from a standard piece of cardstock, gets you 2 card bases, which is super handy because I needed 2 Night of Navy card bases. So I'm going to fold that. And when you're folding your cards, the bump always goes in. This is another thing. I've seen a few people lately that have folded the bump to go out, and that's actually wrong. And it's to do with the way that the scoring actually breaks down the fibers. So on the side that you score in, it actually breaks those fibers so that they stretch instead of breaking when they're folded. So if you turn it with the bump to go out, you can actually break those fibers, and it's not nearly as pretty. Okay, so for this first card, I'm going to use just a piece of basic white. And then in my sample card, I used Balmy Blue, but I'm actually going to use Seaside Spray, which is the color that is in the designer series paper for this version. And we are going to do some stamping. What I've done is I've taken the 3 small flowers from the stamp set, and I've mounted them all up onto one block. So I'm going to stamp these, and I'm going to stamp a solid version, and then I'm going to turn it a little bit and stamp a slightly lighter version. And I'm going to do that all the way kind of across my layer here. Getting a little bit too much on my background there. You can kind of double them up so they're layered a little bit. And then we've got kind of this nice little fan of flowers across. The other piece that I'm going to stamp is I'm going to do my greeting, and I'm going to use this Congrats, You're So Fancy now, because who doesn't like being fancy? And we're going to stamp that up, and this is, I think this is the second biggest of these scalloped rectangles from the Stitched So Sweetly dies. And we're going to stamp that just across the bottom there. Okay, now my stamping is done for this card. Yes, Cindy, valley on the outside, mountain on the inside. Exactly. You got it. So now I'm going to take, this is the twine that's from the, let me see if I remember this. Can't remember, the suit bundle suite thing with the, like the suit dyes and the blue and gray patterns that were like for shirts. Can't remember what it's called right now. But anyways, this twine is from that. It comes with one in Night of Navy and another one in gray. So I'm using the Night of Navy one here because who doesn't love Night of Navy twine? Should be a staple. And clearly my scissors are duller than my teeth are because pretty much that's what it felt like cutting with my teeth. Oh, and I was going to glue this on here. So I'm going to glue on my background onto my card base. And this is just that standard first layer 4 by 5 1/4. Hopefully I grabbed the right one. So it will layer onto our standard card with a nice little border. Okay, now before I forget, I did exactly the same thing when I made my sample. I'm going to cut some of these little strips in this pattern. So well suited. Thank you, Cindy. I knew it was something like that. I'm going to cut some 1/2 inch little strips here. So these are going to be 1/2 inch by like 3-ish inches. It's really difficult to go back and add these after. So good thing to remember to actually cut these. And now we're going to go and we're going to glue these onto our card base. And I'm just going to glue them kind of in this bottom right hand corner, giving them a little bit of space, trying not to get glue everywhere, failing miserably. Going to let that glue that I just smeared across the corner of my card dry a little bit, and then I'll go in and get rid of it. Super coordinated today, as you can tell. I think some of these might even be close to straightish. Okay. Hi, Shelly. Hi, Sue. Scissors can be sharpened, Sue. Here in town, we have a lovely gentleman by the name of Cam Bailey, who is a retired paramedic who will do sharpen all your scissors for you. Okay. I'm going to add some dimensionals to the back of this label, and then we're going to pop this on just over top of those 3 little Designer Series paper labels. Now I've die cut a bunch of these little Night of Navy flowers, but I wanted to show you a trick with these little guys. Oftentimes you'll get things that get stuck in the die. So like here I had this little flower got stuck in the die. What I discovered just earlier today was that, hey Martha, you can actually get these out fairly easily. You can take a pin or something and poke through there. You can use your die brush, whatever. This is what worked for me today. I just turned it over and I flicked it a couple times and it came flying out. Apparently, oh, interesting. Somebody's calling me. I will stick these on. I have a sneaking suspicion that that's my doctor who is calling me early because I have an appointment later today. So I will hopefully she will understand and call me back at our scheduled time. All right. I am going to pop all of these guys onto some glue dots, and then I'm going to use my scissors. You could use take your pick tool or something like that to do this as well, but I'm going to basically pop these all over my card and add to that kind of layered, oops, that one came right off, layered flower effect. Where did they go? There they are. And then some of my slightly bigger flowers here. So we've got all kinds of fancy flowers layered on there. But of course, we're never done until we have some bling on there. So I'm going to take some pearls. And now when you get your make and take packet for this class, so if you either ordered it from us or you're getting it for free because you placed an order or during your class or however you got it for free, the Canadians, you would have gotten an email from me yesterday. If you're getting it, you may be getting a package of pearls in there or maybe some other little goodies. So if you don't have the pearls that you need, you can use rhinestones for this as well. For some of them, I used the colored pearls from the hydrangea suite, which are unfortunately back ordered right now. You can't even order them, they're so back ordered. But the pearls, the regular white pearls work too. So there's all that. And then because I just have a few little pearls left over here, I'm just going to pop these onto some of my stamped flowers as well and add some extra little sprinkles of pearls because, well, you can never have too much bling, right? So I'm just going to add a few extras of the bigger pearls. There we go. So there is our first card, almost done. Forgot to add the bow. I'm a doofus. All right, I'm going to cut a length of twine and then I'm going to slide it under right there and then tie a double bow in this so that I have that extra little element and that extra texture and 3D and all that fun stuff in there. Okay. All right, there we go. And then I'll show you the version that I did with Balmy Blue. So it still works. It's just kind of different shades of blue. So there we go. That is our first card done. Now the second card, we're going to use this gorgeous paper. So this is what I was talking about when I said those big, bold, colorful florals. Sorry, I keep getting distracted by comments. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this down. We're going to cut it down to 3 7/8. And then the other direction, it doesn't really matter where we actually cut it because we're actually going to layer it onto a piece of, this is petal pink. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to tear it. So what you're going to do is you're going to give it about an inch of space where you're going to stamp your sentiment, and then you're just going to tear it. I like to always tear towards me, so whatever the paper that I want showing, and then pull towards me, and that will leave that nice white edge. And this again is just that 4 by 5 1/4 layer. And then we're going to glue our torn piece on here. And glue that on here. Then we're going to use that same sentiment. Actually, you know what? I'm going to change the sentiment up. I'm going to use the happy birthday one, just because I also have it on my desk. We're going to use that happy birthday sentiment on this one and Night of Navy. And I'm going to stamp that on there. Okay, now we want to add some texture to this. So I'm going to use what color is this again? Seaside Spray linen scalloped ribbon. And I'm going to put a piece across this layer here. So I'm going to put it across like that. And then what I like to do for this, actually, this is where I think the Stamp and Seal Plus really is awesome for tacking down ribbon pieces, especially like on the backs and stuff here, because it'll hold it nice and tight and super flat to the card. So we'll get that across kind of straightish. There we go. And then we're going to bring in our card base again. Somewhere in my bone folder. Get that nice and creased. And then we're going to pop this up on dimensionals. I'm going to pop this up on some dimensionals. Capture that dog hair in there because no card is complete without a dog hair. Pet glitter, that's what we call it, because it ends up everywhere. And then we're going to pop this onto the front of yet another Night of Navy card base. Alrighty, now I've got my linen thread here. That's going to coordinate with the linen ribbon. And we're going to tie another double bow. So again, I just double it up and then I make my bunny ears, cross them over. The front one goes behind and through the loop there. That's, I find, the easiest way to make a freestanding bow. And then we're going to tweak these in to make it a nice, tiny, neat little bow. Trim the ends off. And then we'll pop this on again with a glue dot. Now, with this one, I am going to use the colored pearls from the Hydrangea Sweep because they coordinate with, they've got that seaside spray. And I'm going to pop on 3 of these bad boys just down in the left-hand corner here. There we go. That is that. This is the version that I did with the congrats. You can see I had torn off a little bit less of that, so there's less space on the bottom here. And I did the pearls horizontal instead of vertical. So I don't know which one I prefer, so you're going to have to tell me which one you prefer. So that is our second card. Last but not least, and this is actually not a card that you're going to get in your make and takes because I wanted to show you guys what we're going to be doing next month. So we're going to be doing the same kind of live on Facebook class next month. And this is one of the projects that we're going to do. It's a little triangle treat box. Some of you may recognize this, but it features the True Love Designer Series paper. So this is kind of black and white designer series paper that, I don't know, I just think it's really pretty and it's really nice to kind of pair with these bright colors. So that's what we're going to do next month. And this card is kind of a tie-in between those. So what I've done is I have die cut a layer of black and a layer of the designer series paper with the largest of the dies from Stitch So Sweetly, because pretty much you can use Stitch So Sweetly on every card. And I just realized that I didn't actually do my die cutting yet. So I will bring all my dies over and show you how I set that up. Because we're going to add some awesome florals to that black and white paper. So I'm going to do this by setting up a bunch of dies all on kind of one pass of the die cutting machine. So you don't have to actually do like crank through 12 times because you're cutting 12 flowers. You can use smaller pieces of cardstock, lay them all out on there, and then do just one pass. So you'll see, I'm just going to put those all on there, and then we're going to crank this through. Shake my whole table. And then when it comes out the other side here, you can see we have our gorgeous grape flower, we have our Bermuda Bay flowers, we have our little blushing bride flowers, and we have our garden green leaves, and they're all came through in just one. This may or may not work with such a big piece. Come on, get out of there. There we go. Just in one pass through the die cutting machine, so I didn't have to fart around die cutting for ages and ages and ages. The other piece that we're going to do is we're going to do some stamping. So I'm going to cut, this is a 4-ish, maybe 3 3/4 inch piece of white cardstock, and I'm just going to cut that down to 3/4 with my little trimmer here. And I'm going to add some flagged ends. I am an absolute sucker for the Pick a Banner punch. It's to die for. It makes life so easy to do these flagged kind of shapes. So there I've got my happy scrappy little label, and I'm going to use my Memento Black, and I'm going to stamp, and I'm going to use that same happy birthday sentiment there because I always need more birthday cards. And I'm going to stamp that on there, try to get it straightish. Ta-da! And then we've got our lovely sentiment layer. Okay, on our designer series paper layers here, just going to put some glue on there, and then I'm going to put this layer over top and just tilt it a little bit so that the black peeks through. Because they're the same size, if I were to layer them, they just wouldn't work. So now I'm going to go in and I'm going to actually adhere this to my card, which I've already folded. This is just one of the note cards that you get like pre-cut and scored. So super handy. If you need to make a bunch of cards really fast, that's a step that you can just remove from your workflow altogether. Now I'm going to put another kind of line of stamp and seal on here, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of this Blushing Bride twine. So this is from the Snailed It Suite. I'm just going to wrap it around my hand a few times. And then, yeah, Sue, I was terrible at cutting things with my scissors. I'm so glad that we have a punch to do that now, because now it can actually not look like a total doofus when I flag things and they're never even and all that fun stuff. So all I've done is I've put that wrap of twine onto the Stamp and Seal Plus that I put down on my card there. And then I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back of my label layer and pop that on here. Now comes the fun part, and I can kind of put my leaves and my flowers wherever I want them. So I'm just going to put some glue on the back of my leaves, and then I'm going to tuck them in behind my label. Smush them down so that they stick. And then the other one, sneak it in behind the twine. There we go. And then I'm going to add some of my flowers. So this one, I think I'm going to actually stick this one right here with a bit of a dimensional. There we go. And then these ones, you know what? I'm going to keep it simple, and I'm just going to do glue dots, because what's not to love about glue dots? They just make life so easy putting these florals together. Stick one on top of there, stick the other one under there, and then my little pink guys will stick like that. Alrighty. So that's that card pretty much done. I'm going to add some of the black pearls because my flowers need centers. And why not stick with that black and white and bold colors. And there we go. So there is that card. And then this is just a slightly different version. I really did very much the same thing, just a different pattern. And I went a bit looser on the twine in the background. So that is for next month's Facebook Live class. So again, you're welcome to join us to see us put those projects together. And if you make a purchase from us in the next month, you will get the make and takes for that. As well, if you're one of my team achievers, you'll get the make and takes, blah, blah, blah. You can also purchase the make and takes for either next month's class or this month's class. So that's the two cards from these that I showed you, and then the three that Kara is going to show you next. The other thing that I wanted to mention that I've got coming up, I know a lot of you are demonstrators, so I'm doing a bunch of demonstrator training. So on March 27th, we've got the live kind of using social media to get started in your business. So whether you're new to the business side or you're just new to being a demonstrator, or you've just always done in person and now want to go, okay, you know what, I can't do in person right now. Let's learn about social media. You can join us for that. Then I've got so that's March. In April on, I believe it's the 18th, the 17th or the 18th, whichever is the Saturday. I have a class that's all about content generation. So how to take photos, how to do videos, how to go live on Facebook, things like that, different setups you can use, different ideas. So you can join us for that. Then we've got in May, we've got Content Creation 2, which is a separate class from the first one. You can take either or you can take both, which is all about how to make graphics and tutorials, those kinds of things. And then in September, we're going to be doing a class that is all different types of events you can hold. So mostly focusing on online events, but basically how you can do events like this and make cards for people and use that in your Stampin' Up! Business. So that's what I've got coming up. Kara's going to talk a bit more about some of our more creative classes and things like that. So I'm going to hand it over to her and she's going to show you her projects. And yeah, so happy stamping. We'll see you later. Bye.